Hi everyone, it's me again, Christian. Hope you're having a good day out here. It's not even raining yet, but it feels good to be out here for the moment. All right. Okay, guys, let's talk about life support. During my recent years, um, I went to Westbury High School that I started in 2001. And I almost graduated it nearly 20 years ago, which was in '05. It's time flies by. I've been doing really well at high school. I was a special ed student, you know who needed to get more support, by helping with their, you know, homework or classwork, things like that were going on ever since the early 2000s. That's all I can say. you know yeah. So we went to one of my most high school field trips is the Katy Mills Mall, Kima Boardwalk, Downtown Aquarium. It's been, yeah. you know I have been to Kima with my friends, you know so we had a good time over there before I graduated high school, with the GED diploma, you know and that's a really good start to that. Then you know then uh 2 years later, before I started my first job as a bagger. I worked for Randall's approximately you know over 15 years, but but then I had you know then I had to go back to college, you know finding me another opportunity to work my degree, all that. you know in 2011 I went to HCC. I was you know a vast student, you know studying, general skills, which I was after, I got better in writing. So you know this is one of the most recent memories that I had before. So you know we hung out for a little while. We went on a field trip to the Houston Rodeo, and a couple of years later we went to the field trip for the Houston Astros game, which was Dayton Park or something, but which was formerly known as Minute Maid Park. Okay, so and yeah, you know, 2 years later, I graduated with the occupational degree and moved on to office skills work, and you know, and I got a second degree as in office work or something, but it was you know, it's a great semester, all right, which I graduated in 2014. I graduated there about 11 years ago, so once you so well, yeah, so I went to St. Thomas, to complete my associate degree, and they helped me find a job there, working at the Center for Pursuit in the Easton. I was an after school teacher assistant. I've been helping them, redevelop their skills, learning how to count numbers, telling time, what else, learning to do a hardware stuff over there. I've been, etc., etc. And yeah, so because what happens, like when you have when you have one of your students, and they are practically having trouble with their, reading and writing, you can ask one of your professors, and they will be really happy to help you with that. All right, so so I was autistically, getting better, reading and writing, building a new understanding what's in me, so you have, you still have the support system who will be able to, get you to another level in the future, and we can all work this out. All right. So let me see, what did I do at Randall's? What did I do at my first job? Yeah, I asked the customer for whether they needed paper or plastic, and they said yes. I rather put the cold stuff in the plastic bag, which is where they all go together at one time. So yeah, so after after I finished, I asked them if they needed some help out to their car. They said, yes or no, and then after that, we wish him have a nice day, so it's good that we have to, keep the store safe and clean, where so we can keep the company stays for good. Okay. And second, I worked at St. Thomas for Career Services. I was, I was doing, organizing professional clothes for, college students, where they will be starting their new journey in the future. We and what do they want to do in life after they finish graduating. you know you know if they continue to stay working on their bachelor's, you know so but as for me, I didn't do the bachelor's because I didn't feel like doing it. So, and yeah, I graduated from St. Thomas nearly 2 years ago. Yeah. So so I decided not to do the bachelor's, so yeah. So, well, yeah. So give yourself some credit for what you did in the past. God is very proud of you for the accomplishments that you made. And but last but not least, but just to say this, if you want to go back to school one day, get you another degree for that, I suggest you go for it. So just a little further note. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for today. This, I know it's been it's been a, dream come true. I don't know what to do next. I'm hoping to get this get this new job at the end of this month, probably. So I hope, we pray and get it. We'll take it from here on out. Okay. So have a wonderful day. I love you all so much, and God bless you all. And I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.